Hello once again everyone, and today we're going to be experimental. So people are always asking me for more Smallsword content on the channel. There's not a lot of it apparently that people enjoy or everyone's watched everything already, so let's go ahead and do some because I have a lovely new Smallsword that I wish to show off, and also we're going to be kind of experimental in the format here, possibly for a future series. So firstly, my new Smallsword. This is a Castile blade. I was rather impressed with the Castile Smallsword blades. They're thicker, still plenty flexy, but a little bit stiffer and just overall a little more firmly built than an epee blade, which I am rather enjoying. Not much heavier, but not much heavier. And then the hilt, meanwhile, here was made by my father. He made a lovely disc guard with nice quillions and then some lovely cross-hatching on the hilt there. Just feels fantastic. Don't be surprised if you see the sword as much as I can get away with showing it off. But for our fundamentals here, these are all meant to be things that you can practice yourself, that are meant to simplify. They're meant to be your baseline that then you can build upon. So firstly, what I want to address is your whole world is being about this strip of tape on Bob. What do I mean by that? So Bob is slightly canted here because he is simulating standing, with your right foot forward. So let's go ahead and go into the stance first. So I put my feet, of course, at the right angle. I take 2 shoe lengths forward, and I get nice even bend. You can also do the slightly rearward weighted stance if you wish, but I will be relatively even today. My shoulders, etc., are sitting at a nice 45-degree angle from the top. My arm comes back, and then now what's currently being represented is that strip of tape from here on my lead breast down to here at about the bottom of my ribs. That is all you need to worry about. Everything else is unnecessary. And the more you can kind of centralize yourself here, the better things will be. Because when I then put my sword into place, it naturally covers first the low opening, and then the high opening. Lower body, upper body, and conversely, lower body. So now, with your whole world being centralized like that, what I want to start talking about is, once you've got that alignment, and right now I'm using the camera for alignment, I can start working off that with my lunge. So, my body's nice and relaxed and I'm nice and profiled with that good back tension. So good even knee bend, elbow right in front, hands standing in cart for the moment, shoulder as level as possible with my hand. So now I do my extension and relax. Extension, relax. Extension, relax. Now in relation to stabbing against a target, and this is where I'm going to slightly alter my positioning here, and we'll see if this works, is when I'm extending, my tip was already at the top of that piece of tape. When I put my arm out, I can no longer see my tip because my guard is in the way. And that means that I'm centralized. I don't want to be trying to look over it because that means my guard isn't in the way and I'm not safe. Can't see it. Can see it. Can't see it. Can, cannot. And that's my extension. Now for my lunge, like always, I just cast my arm down as I extend, so out, cast. You'll notice now the hand ends up slightly up. I'm not artificially elevating it. I aim for a tip, or I aim for the top of that tape rather, and I lunge, then my hands stay parallel to that target. When the rest of me lands down, it ends up at my face level, securing me against any counter thrust. Come back, relax. Up, lunge. Back, relax. Up, lunge. Back, relax. Now executing that on Bob. I'm in guard, up, lunge, back, relax, up, lunge, back, relax, up, lunge, back, relax. I'm trying to keep it as consistent as possible as I hit that same spot as much as I can, because my whole world is just that one spot. And what I mean by that is, my guard here is pretty much reliant upon blade angle. I have to put my sword where I want to be strong, but at the same time, if I want to be strongest, I don't want to move a whole lot. If my sword's constantly moving around, I'm just creating more openings. The more I can keep that guard centralized, I can quickly adjust whatever I need to do my various parries, but that guard is always strong, and then when I'm lunging, the guard is still strong, and I can still do my various parries. The more you can focus on keeping that guard just centralized and lined up with you, not only do your attacks become much more accurate, but also your centerline defense becomes a lot more accurate against people who are afraid to go through your blade. And this is the bit that I can't seem to lay with Bob because he's got no arms. But essentially, one of the first things that you should work on, and I might do a follow-up to this, just because my arm is here does not mean I am defended. When you lunge forward for my breast, you should go through my blade. You don't care about interacting with my blade. Don't care about trying to deal with it. You should be able to lunge straight, hit my chest, and if you do so correctly, your guard will prevent me from hitting you, because I'm not adding anything to it. Even if my arm is out, you should still be able to do the same. Just go right through that blade. The less I worry about that, the more I'm confident in just taking openings when I see them. Now when people start moving their sword around because they're afraid of yours, these openings are just even bigger. Now, let's talk about taking the low opening. This is where we still keep the hand exactly the same. So I'm on my guard, I extend toward upper opening, let your tip drop to lower opening. So my hand is still in exactly the same place so that when I lunge, I'm still keeping that level of security with my head. I don't want to try and lunge underneath like this. That's a surefire way to get countered and stabbed up in your vitals. This, at least, he will have to go over my blade to get my low if he wants to get me. So again, I'm looking at low target, but I extend to high and let my tip drop. Attack. Back. Relax. Extend. Drop. Attack. Back. Relax. Now I will attack on Bob. So now my target is here. And so far, all I'm doing is lunging in cut. So let's start looking at lunging in tierce. In fact, before we do that, let me go ahead and lunge a couple times at the camera so that you can see the tip to guard ratio. Nice and simple. Really, the through line here is upper opening, lower opening, doesn't matter. Guard's in the same place, guard ends up in front of my head, I'm safe. He will have to do some action against my blade before he can hit me. And likewise, if his sword is in the way, I don't care. I still attack over it. If it's up, I go here. If it's down, I go here. Now let's talk about tierce. So I'll roll over into tierce right quick. So this is my carte, this is my tierce. And I want to talk about that briefly. So there's a couple different ways of rolling over into tierce. You can flip over entirely so that you're flat. You can also put your thumb onto the corner and turn like so. Nice if you have a ricasso or knuckleball, things like that. So it's kind of sitting almost at like a 45 as opposed to pure flat like a second. But, well, secunda, not second. Anyway, we'll do some from tierce. Everything's still the same. I want it as centralized as possible. So I'm in my carte, I roll to my tierce, I extend, lunge. Back, relax. Extend, lunge. Back, relax. Extend, lunge. Back, relax. Side. Extend, lunge. Back, relax. Extend, lunge. Back, relax. Extend, lunge. Back, relax. And just for S and Gs, let's do a thrust in second. And now we'll go ahead and hit Bob with these. So first the tierce. Now the second. Left. So those are our 4 basic lunges, and your whole world being that strip of tape. This may not seem very complicated, because it's not meant to be. The whole point of this, though, is that by focusing on these things, your whole world being just those 2 targets, there is nothing in between, and as long as you keep yourself centered in the same place, you're pretty darn safe. Our stance is already making us so bladed. and our blade is able to go wide, plenty wide. I mean, I can cover wider than myself with just a movement of my blade. There's no need to be constantly moving around, and when people start doing so, it's easy for me to pick them apart. The more centralized I can be as my base layer, the more ready and able I am to take targets when they present themselves. So, like I said, kind of being experimental with this format. Hopefully the camera lined up in such a way that things look good. If they don't, I suppose I'll never publish this, I'll refilm it, but in case you're watching this, I guess it worked out. Do let me know if you like this over-the-shoulder format. I'm trying to set up as a right-hander against another right-hander, and so this was the best proportion I could do without being pure sideways. If anyone has any further suggestions, please let me know. Certainly with some other weapons, I could go over my right shoulder instead of by my left side. But either way though, nice and basic, nice and simple, little bit of Smallsword for you. There will be more content of this to come, don't worry. But otherwise, thank you very, very much for watching. We'll go over some other techniques another time.